The mathematical progressions between the state standards focus on the progressions of topics across a wide range of grade levels, embedded in educational research and research-based best practices, with the structure of mathematics being at its core. We would be remiss to discuss standards and instruction without focusing on the glue that holds mathematics together. This narrative of progressing structure, relationships, and content assists in helping both teachers and students maintain conceptual understanding and the ability to build off prior knowledge without jumping from concept to concept in a meaningless way. Just like a great literature has a story, thread, a plot sequence, relationships with characters, mathematics at its core is interconnected. TouchMath can assist the flow of mathematics progressions that follow a standard from the start of a content strand to the end of the domain area. This effect is termed a learning trajectory. A learning trajectory is closely related to the domain areas in state standards for mathematics. In elementary math instruction, the domain areas include counting cardinality, operations and algebraic thinking, numbers and operations in base 10, geometry, measurement, and data. The TouchMath program can assist teachers in implementing with fidelity the rigor of the standards and help shorten the deficit of students performing below grade level or students struggling to gain concepts. Mathematics usually asks students to develop both conceptually and procedural knowledge, as well as engage in mathematical practices such as perseverance, pattern identification, and making sense of structure. Conceptual and procedural knowledge within the standards is held together by both the mathematical progressions, learning trajectories, and mathematical modeling. A prime example of this shift from the learning spiral to the mathematics progression or learning trajectory approach can be seen through the lens of a fifth grade math student that's struggling with fractions. As you can see here, typical curriculum builds off of a spiral. However, the TouchMath curriculum builds off of a learning trajectory, focusing on the topics and the glue that sticks the mathematics together. Without the progressions or framework, a teacher may continue to reinforce the fractional procedures and concepts until the student seems to master the skill, only to realize that at each grade level, they forget the procedure after the unit has passed. This is all too common. However, if the teacher were to use mathematical progressions and take into consideration the learning trajectory, the focus would be on the domain of numbers and operations within fractions. If a student is struggling with a fifth grade standard, for example, equivalent fractions, going back to a lower standard, let's say repeated addition or repeated multiplication, students can gain understanding through divisive relationships. In order to understand fractions in fifth grade, kindergarten teachers can actually start to reinforce geometric shapes. The relationship is a prime example of the progression of learning trajectories that it has both mathematical significance and is research-based best practices. TouchMath has progressions of the standards built into its core, allowing students to seamlessly move through the learning trajectories of both state standards, the learning progressions, and multiple other areas of mathematics. The visual cues that students gain through using the TouchMath system can generalize conceptual knowledge towards the domain areas within their foundational and grade level standards.